Hello everyone and welcome back to Splatoon 3. Today I want to talk about the map and looking at the map. So look at the map in a game first of all, that's a good place to start. Press X. Doing it in the lobby kind of does nothing. Honestly, there's like no use for it, but doing it in game is really good. In game, just press X. That's all you need to do to make sure that you are looking at the map. Is just press X and you're looking at the map at that point. It can be very useful to do that, and I'm going to be explaining why in today's video. I'm going to start off with basic functions of jumping on the map. I'm going to go with the most basic ruler just for the sake of this, because I want to show the kind of information that you can get by looking at the map. Turf Wars is where we will start, for today anyway. So let's get into Turf Wars and we'll have a look at how that works. I've also noticed that Clan Blitz is in rotation, and looking at the map is good for Clan Blitz too. So I'll definitely be able to get into that. It's useful for every mode really, to get a look at the map, but for extra reasons on those modes, right? In ranked modes. So for starters, look at what you can see on the map. You can see where every teammate is exactly. So you don't just see their names, you see where every player is exactly on the map. You see their exact location on the map. You can see pretty much everything about everything that your team is doing on the map. This would be a good time to get a look at the map though, is to die. When you die, this is a good time to get a look at the map. Because now I know I can jump to this person. It's generally not a good idea to do that, but you can, right? The map is where you go to super jump, right? That's also part of why I went into Turf Wars first of all, because it means I don't have to forfeit anything by doing that. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the first use of looking at the map, is super jumping and finding out where teammates are roughly. There is a way to find out where enemies are on the map, but the way that you do that is a little bit limited. And I'm actually not amazingly keyed in on the full explanation of that. Good kill there. Good kill there too. So, the reason I chose the roller, the normal roller for this, the most basic roller, is first of all it's the most basic. Second of all it has this. Because in this you can see this little like device in the middle, which is a beacon. You can jump to that. That is something that you can just jump to. That's one of the other things. There are other weapons with beacons. I think for now it's only Tenta Missiles and Dapple Dualies that have beacons. But you can always jump to a beacon. That's always a good idea to do that. But also, since you can see beacons on the map, and you can also see enemy beacons on the map, it can be a good idea to look at the map just to get a see of where their beacons are placed, and, you know, destroy them so that they can't jump to them themselves. And we can't jump to enemy beacons, by the way. The other thing that beacons are useful for on maps is that they can reveal enemy locations. We'll get into this when we actually have the beacon, of course, but that's the other thing. That's one of the ways you can see enemy locations, is by placing your own beacon on the map. And your whole team will be able to see that. You can also see enemies on enemy beacons, even if you didn't place them, even if your team didn't place them, you can still see every enemy that is near that beacon, within a certain radius, of course. I need to move something because it keeps getting my Elgato screen capture out of full screen, and that's not good, because it's very distracting to me. So now I have to choose a weapon that has beacons to show off the beacons part of things. Quickly go over the things I already mentioned about beacons, and then we'll get into the whole point. To use beacons, I'm going to be going for Dapple Dualies. Hang on. Yeah, two weapons have the beacon, like Dapple Dualies and the Tenterbrella at the moment. And by no chance am I using the Tenterbrella. So to place a beacon is just the normal sub button. It places it exactly on the spot. You do not throw them. It's not a thing. But jumping to a beacon, as the person who placed it, immediately destroys it. But if a teammate jumps to it, then they can jump to it up to 3 times amongst them. So that's 1 jump each, but somebody could use 2 jumps on the beacon, for example, if they are someone who frequently looks at the map. So that's the reason you might look at the map when you have the beacons. The enemy team can also have the beacons, and their beacons will also be visible on the map to you. So if you see beacons on the map, it may be a good idea to destroy them because you don't want enemies jumping to them. Very convenient for enemies to jump to beacons. If you do have beacons and you do need to jump to them, I would recommend an ability called Stealth Jump. Stealth Jump is an ability that hides your landing spot when you super jump. It hides your landing spot when you super jump to people who are at a certain distance away. So if you jump and somebody is like literally just 10 meters away, honestly, they have to be really close to be able to see your jumping spot. Yeah, to be able to see your jumping spot, they have to be quite close to the jumping spot in order to see it. So it's a really good ability that everyone should have. I've got it on these shoes because this was available in the Splatnet shop at some point. It's not anymore, but I think, yes, these had it when I first bought them in the shop, I think. Something had them when I first bought these, I think. These had them when I bought them in the shop, I believe. Not sure, but anyway, it's a whole other thing. That's just like a precautionary thing. That's nothing to do with actually looking at the map. That is why you do it. You can also see, via beacons, enemies who are nearby it. So maybe that's something that gets demonstrated today. But for now, we'll get into turf wars with this weapon that I don't like using. Something I should mention is that another time that's good to look at the map is just whenever you're hiding, whenever you know that the enemies can't see you, would be a good time to look at the map. Always booyah back. Okay. Make a habit. Yeah, look. That's one of the conditions of seeing enemies on the map. I don't know what happens to make that happen. I think it's because I got splatted. No. I think it's because they were near another teammate. I'm not actually totally sure. Or if it's because they were near my death spot or something. I'm not entirely sure. But here, we're going to put a beacon there. That just got destroyed, I heard it. Oh, come on. I hate Dapple Julies, they're so short-ranged. That's another thing. If somebody says this way and you want to actually listen to them, unlike most players, then you might do that. Yeah, I'm going to place it there, because that's obvious. Here. See how I can see those enemies on the map? That is because they are near my beacon, basically. Here, and that one's near that other beacon. That enemy there was near that other beacon. I saw them there too, so that's how that works, roughly. I should use this special. It's so bad though. Ugh. Okay. Now I'm visible. Okay. Beacons can also, by the way, be a good distraction. That person went and destroyed it immediately as they saw it. The one that I placed roughly here. Okay. I'm so bad at this. The assist. I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to put one here. No, I'm not. Just kidding. That's going to get destroyed immediately by those tender missiles, but... yeah, I'll just show off jumping to them, I guess. Okay. That's just how that works. Anyone on your team can jump to them, as I mentioned, but... that's just how that works. That's not really a good use of doing that. Don't just jump to it immediately. That's not a good idea. Just in case there is beacons, if you see a Dapple Julies or a Tensorbrella on the team, or in future updates any other weapon that is given the beacon, always check the map. Always be checking the map, because people are sneaky with them, and they can actually really disrupt a game in just the most unusual way possible. Now I'm going to step into Clan Blitz. Clan Blitz is like a special case in a way, because there's more information that you get by looking at the map, there's more information that you get. You almost want to play, in a way, turf wars around the middle of the map on Clam Blitz, and the reason for that is because if you do that, you can visibly see the location of every clam that is on your ink. Clams on enemy ink won't be visible, but like, if I ink a spot that has a clam on it, you'll know what I mean, basically. I'll show you when it happens, but I also don't like this as a series, by the way. It's my first time playing in S+ rank, in S rank, so eesh, this could be a disaster. But like, look, we got a disconnect. This button here, you can see that on the map now, that clam. At least I guess at least I don't have to continue with this. We'll just go into recon and show what I was trying to show. I think that's the way to do it, honestly. Just to show like the other kinds of things that you can see on the map in this game. In Splat Zones, the type of things that you can see on the map isn't very much. All you can really see is the Splat Zone by looking at the map. So you can just see the Splat Zone in this like kind of like grated checkerboard type of thing. It doesn't show you anything else. The other things that you can see by looking at the map in this mode is just the normal stuff that you can see by looking at the map in this mode. So here, if I just, you can see that the checkerboard pattern has turned blue now. Pretty much. That's what it shows. Lovely ability to bring in dulling bots. I feel like that would be a more extensive training mode than the current one we have anyway. We can then look at tower control. In tower control you can just see the tower. That's the only new thing they add for you to see. Which is a bit unfortunate. I'd love to see the route on the map. I think it's a bit odd that it's not already showing the route on the map. Or at least where the checkpoints are, you know. I feel like there's a lot more that should be shown on the map. But then again, it might get cluttered if they do that. Yeah, it does change the colour of it to whichever team is on the tower. So in case you somehow missed, or you somehow can't tell by looking at the top of the screen, there's that, I guess. Rainmaker, yet again, only shows the objective, but it also shows the checkpoints, which one would argue is the objective, is the checkpoints, but the checkpoints are visible on the map, as is the final spot with the Rainmaker. It's all visible on the map. If I pick it up, the Rainmaker, you can barely see it, but it's turned pink, just to show what kind of thing happens if I reach a checkpoint. The checkpoints fade to grey, and the final goal is shown instead. So that's what happens in Rainmaker. And Clam Blitz. In Clam Blitz you can see the two baskets, and as I already mentioned, if I just lightly turf just over everything, you can see every clam that is sitting on your ink colour. So I can now see every clam in this region. Every clam in our base is now visible, because we have covered this region in ink. Same applies everywhere on the map, so I can now see that one even though that's in the middle of the map. And if I go into their base, I can see all of these. Those placed on uninkable surfaces will never be visible, quite simply. And those that are placed on surfaces that aren't inked will also just not be visible. So, inking as much of the ground, Clam Blitz, you might as well also play Turf Wars when you play Clam Blitz. You might as well go for map control as well, because you kind of want to look at the map and see where all the clams are, especially if you are on 7 clams and you need to look for one. And you don't know where to find one, or maybe you just want to look for one that's closer to enemy base, like here, and surprise them and get it in. But there's a lot that the map can tell you that goes underutilized, so that's the video there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao, my dudes.